Hey everybody, welcome to Steel City Fandom. It's a special Thursday here. No one else is here yet. Just me and Justin and my son Alex talking early, so we might be talking...
anime.
I took your talking apart.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's a special edition of Talkin Anime, recorded on a Thursday before those other two idiots join and ruin it. And we invited Alex along, because Alex, me, and Justin just recently, like what, last week, finally saw Fifth Gear.
Yep.
So we last left off, we were only going to do one more Wano, because this is 103. So it's 200 episodes, so it's got to be like four series,
and
right?
We have another 12 episodes to go of Wano.
God, it's taken so long. So we figured we'd do a special react to Fifth Gear since it's out in the dubbed version. Talk about that fight. I think before we get there, we should probably talk about the Zoro fight and the Big Mom fight before we get to Fifth Gear, because we haven't mentioned those yet.
Because that was the bulk of the first half of the new 12 episodes.
Yeah, they didn't waste a lot of time in a lot of these episodes. There wasn't a lot of nonsense.
It was a lot of action.
Yeah, a couple here and there with stupid Usopp stuff running around with giraffe body. That fucking terrible
I hate
guy.
the Smile. I hate the Smile Brigade. They're just...
I mean, you have a giraffe growing out your ass or whatever, and your legs, and you're the head of a giraffe. It's like so weird and stupid.
But you still have your regular arms and legs.
Yeah.
The neck of the giraffe just grows straight out of your back.
Yeah, out of his butt or whatever. Yeah, it's so stupid. It's just so... It takes me out of it when I see those weird people. Remember the guy that had like a monkey for a gorilla for a hand?
Yeah.
You know, like... It's just so weird.
Imagine getting a devil fruit and that's the one you get out of all of them.
Yeah, you got monkey hand. But we have to make sure in this episode that we get names correct, because there was a person that didn't like us on the last episode that said we don't know any of the names.
Well, no, he first yelled at us, but then at the end he was like, "But I enjoyed it."
Yeah. First he had to insult us, take a shot at us, and tell us that we're trying to piss One Piece fans off or whatever. I don't even know his name. But we're not even going to give a mention. But yeah, he shit on us a little bit, and then he liked it. So, Zoro King.
The ending to that fight was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I say so far, to me, this is the best fight in Wano. I know we're getting to Luffy and what he's doing and all that. Me being partial to Zoro and to Christopher Sabat and all that. But this was fantastic, I thought.
Zoro is reaching a level of power that I don't know any other emperor, their first or second, I don't know that anyone has anybody like Zoro.
I mean, Killer's pretty tough.
Killer's tough, but I think Zoro
beat him already.
Walk him.
Yeah, he already beat him already.
I think King was the last, like, even in Shank's crew. I don't think Beckman...
Well, I would say Katakuri or whatever is pretty tough.
He's very tough.
Because Luffy had to fight him.
At this point, I think Zoro would be able to handle Katakuri now.
And you don't know what Katakuri's been doing in the meantime.
True.
But he's a challenge still. Because, I mean, Zoro... It took Luffy and Snake Man to the max to beat him.
Yeah.
You know? And he's got an evolved devil fruit and all that. But... the only thing I didn't get about Zoro is, remember Alex, he just kept saying he's the king of hell over and over?
I was going to talk about that. What does that mean?
I wasn't getting that.
Is there like a reference we're missing or something?
I don't know.
I think
he was really big on that king of hell stuff. He kept saying it over and over and over.
I don't know if it had something to do with... I mean, he got visited by death.
He did.
So, yeah, I don't know if that has something to do with it. If there's something... Because we haven't even seen, like, we really haven't seen his training flashback. So we don't know what he went through during his 2-year time skip fully with Mihawk. We don't know where the scar in the eye, that hasn't come in.
We don't know how he lost an eye yet, which is crazy to think about that we don't know that yet.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, when did he first show up with the eye? That was Fishman Island.
Yeah, it was right after the time skip.
How many years ago?
So, I don't know, 12 years ago? Still waiting on an explanation for his damn eyeball?
And I don't even think manga readers know specifically yet. unless Oda's put something in one of those SBS like question and answer things about it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because I see speculation all over the place that at some point he's going to open it and it's going to be like the same style of eyes that Mihawk has. Because Mihawk's got those weird yellow fucking eyes, and there are a couple other characters.
So you just think he's holding it closed the entire time?
I don't know.
Just for shits and giggles.
I mean, it could be, if that's the case, it could be something like, what's his name? Gojo. Where he always keeps sunglasses on and like, because it's too powerful to have like to be able to see out of it or whatever. Who knows? I hope it's something cool and it's not just Mihawk took his eye and was like, "That's part of the training, dick."
Like how what they did to Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Just being like, oh.
So at this point, is he better than Mihawk?
That is still left up to debate. Right now, other than stories and what he did to Zoro way back when, we haven't really seen Mihawk do anything.
He hasn't done anything.
He could be a complete pushover and nobody knows it.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't really done much since.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing we have of him is the stories of his duels with Shanks and what he did to Zoro at Baratie.
That's my biggest problem with this show is, I love this show. It's still my favorite anime, but like, I said to Alex the other day, you haven't seen Dragon and Sabo since the end of Dressrosa when they were having a conversation about Luffy. And they were like, went in his office and they were going to have this heated conversation. That was like 7 years ago. I mean, if you're watching this weekly, it's 7 years ago. So your whole life could change in 7 years. You might not even give a shit anymore about it.
That was Reverie when we saw that stuff.
And I know they referenced it like, the Revolutionary Army, they were attacked by Blackbeard on their island because Blackbeard's, the wrestler guy, I'm sorry, I don't remember his name.
Jesus Burgess.
Yeah, he stowed away and landed on that island, called him Blackbeard. They had a fight there. We never saw that fight. I don't know if that's in the manga, that fight, or whatever, but like, if Whole Cake Island is like 182 episodes, they couldn't have spared 5 episodes to show us that battle, to show us what happened there to Dragon. That way you get a little Dragon, you know what I mean, in the series, or even a couple episodes to show the aftermath of like where Sabo is and what he's doing. It's forgotten characters. It's almost like how Tony Khan writes AEW. People just disappear from the raw, and you're like, where's that guy at? He hasn't been on TV for a year. Where is Sabo?
Yeah.
Like, what is he doing?
So,
and I know that like Wano, this is only like these things. Like Whole Cake Island happened in like 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was 3.5 years of watching it. But it was 2 weeks.
Yeah, Wano took 4 years to watch.
Wano took 4 years of watching it, and he was maybe there, I don't know, a couple months, tops. I don't know. I mean, all this happens very quickly.
Yeah.
But you think in all these episodes of Wano, 202 episodes of Wano in total when it's done, you couldn't have gave us, you gave us that nice Kozuki Oden flashback. You couldn't have given us something? You couldn't have showed Blackbeard and what he's currently doing, or the Admiral?
When was the last time we saw Blackbeard was what, Marineford?
No, you saw Blackbeard at I don't know, maybe 20 years ago.
I think there was an episode in Dressrosa where he was like invading the village with the guy from Thriller Bark. Was that in Dressrosa? You remember that episode? He was like fighting him or something.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, he did attack. What's his name? All right, we're
going with the names.
Not no names again. The main villain.
The vampire guy.
The main villain of Vampire.
Gecko Moria.
Gecko Moria. Remember when Gecko Moria slimmed down, was all thin looking, and he walked into that one place and Blackbeard like attacked him. He was hunting him down. That popped up somewhere in like Whole Cake. They showed that episode.
Wow. You're in like that desert oasis.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you're right. It was like a desert oasis, and Blackbeard and his pirates are there, and they killed Moria. They finally got to Gecko Moria.
And then I think that's also when they revealed Blackbeard's like bounty, like his like high bearing.
Yeah, they showed him sitting there. You're right, and they said, this is his bounty. Now, like, this isn't a big deal to people like us and a lot of people who binge watch this show, because like we saw, it was just last year for me or for you when we watched Ace die by the hands of
Akainu.
We watched that. We watched this admiral kill Luffy's brother, and I'm kind of like, I can't wait till Luffy gets a hold of this asshole again. I want to see it happen. That was like 15 years ago for everybody. If you're watching it live, do you even care about it?
I don't know.
Because for us, it's different. We still care because we watched it fresh, and we're like, yeah, I can't wait for more of this. I don't know how a regular viewer of this show is still even gives a shit what happened 15 years ago or however long it is that you're still like, well, whatever happened with them, I don't know. I don't care. I mean, I don't care at this point. I'm the different person that I was 15 years ago.
I think for somebody, thinking from my own personal experience, if that were me, it is something that I would probably have forgotten about.
Yeah.
But when it comes back up, it would be a huge moment.
Yeah.
And again, if you're watching it week to week to week, and you don't have any spoilers, you don't know what's coming, and all of a sudden, this...
But no one's watching in any world that there's not going to be spoilers.
What? But I mean, no, if you're watching it fresh, brand new
and
episodes...
you have to be reading the manga.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be spoiled for you.
Yeah, so, like, the scene in Dressrosa when Sabo shows back up.
Yeah.
That's still, every time I see that fucking scene in a clip, it's still, like, it's one of the best scenes for me in the show.
Yeah.
And I can't even imagine have...
But again, you're still in that mindset of
it's so close.
But last time you saw Saba was probably a month and a half before when you were in the other saga because you watched it so fast.
Exactly.
But I mean, my God, it's unbelievable how long. And that's one thing I don't understand about this show is like, it's easy to get engrossed to it in a binge watch where you're watching Dressrosa and you're like, yeah, it's 160 episodes, but it was really good. I enjoyed it all. But like, I almost think it's too long, like the way he focuses on Saga so heavily. Like, we've been in Wano, and the only thing that matters in Wano is Wano. We're talking about the history of Wano with Kozuki Oden. All that stuff, it's all Wano. Like, anybody else in the One Piece... Now, I know they focused on, like, the One Piece and Laugh Tale, and there's items that... But none of the other characters they spend all that time building, they don't do anything with.
The only thing I can figure is that people are just such fans of the show that they know got a new episode coming next week.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a good episode. New episode coming next week. Oh, all right, that one was a little slow, but I got a new episode coming next week.
Yeah.
And
because there's never an off season of it.
No.
I mean, they've taken some breaks, like a couple weeks here and there, but it's just crazy to me when you put it in that kind of perspective, thinking about that stuff, like the way it is. Just talking about the Zoro fight in Mihawk. You haven't seen Mihawk in forever.
Yeah.
So maybe when Netflix tries to do this, The One Piece, and they shorten these down, maybe that'll be easier for some people to digest.
I know. I mean, I'm absolutely going to watch it.
Yeah.
From start to finish when it comes out again.
Yeah.
I actually thought about going back to East Blue while I'm waiting for new episodes.
And you probably catch up.
Yeah.
Christ. You could probably start over and be like, let me catch up again. So I don't know. I feel like there's a lot to wrap up that they're going to do, but we'll see where it goes. But anyway, back to this fight. Sorry to derail us there.
That's all right.
It was great. Zoro just continues to be awesome in everything he does. I don't know how he's alive after this, because apparently you were supposed to just die out. But he's the king of hell and all that other stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. Frankie had to save him.
Yeah.
I'm also pretty sure, wasn't there the world record for most impact frames in that fight?
You had mentioned that, and I'm still not really sure what that means. But
well, you understand the concept of an impact frame.
Not really. Yeah.
It's in animation. So there's one frame that's like drastically different than the other ones. It's called an impact frame. It's for impact. And like that fight, when like King's like powering up and stuff, he like has like 70 of them back to back, which has like never been done before.
Yeah, I wouldn't have caught that.
It just looks like super crazy because it's 70 of them.
That's cool.
It's cool.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, One Piece moments that always pop me. I really loved when they were the last scene when they hit each other, and then you think it's King, and Zoro flies out, and the narrator said "Winner Zoro," and they did the Z on the screen. I think I yelled out loud for that one. I was like, "Fuck yeah, that was great."
I like how they made it seem like King won, and then you were like, "Oh wait, that's
Yeah, it's such a badass Zoro moment, which you love. So that was good. And then I thought the Big Mom Law versus Kid one was good, but I absolutely have no idea how Law's powers work.
Same fucking thing.
Yeah.
I don't, like, you have your sword stabbed through her head
To the center of the earth.
Even before he did that.
Yeah.
He'd shot her, the inject thing.
Yeah.
Through her head. Just take the little guard off your sword and let your sword be inside her brain.
Yeah.
She's dead.
I don't understand that. I don't understand.
his power.
I understand some of these Zoan, not Zoan. So Zoan devil fruits are animals,
They're
right?
the animal ones.
Yeah.
What's the other ones?
Paramecia and
Paramecia are like
Logia.
fire and all that. Logia are the ones that are
No, Logia are the ones where you can turn your body into different things. Paramecia, which is what they thought Luffy was, is kind of a
random
unknown.
Okay.
So I know there's supposed to be that when you evolve a devil fruit and you go past your limit, you evolve it, whatever. Like Don Quixote, Doflamingo, he, instead of shooting the strings out and all that, he was able to turn the ground into string and all that. Same with like you saw Kid do it, where like the ground was getting magnetized and all that. I don't understand how Law's room. I don't know how it evolved. Like,
Me neither.
I don't know what it was. I don't understand that. Like, you put a sword through her chest and then ran that sword down into like the center of the earth, and then brought up like a fire and made a big giant. I don't know how they didn't kill her.
That technique, the technique, it's. I think he calls it shockwave.
I guess.
And somehow he's able to make his sword like do electricity powers.
And it goes like, and the sword can go to like infinite lengths.
Yeah.
Didn't he use that to make like a hole, and then he dropped Big Mom down it?
Ultimately,
but I mean, he blew it. If you think about it, he's blowing up a hole to the center of the earth to drop her into. But it's also right through her body. So I don't know how that shockwave didn't come up and explode her organs or whatever.
Just like take out her heart or something.
But she was just like, you little shit, not really caring. And then he had to make that gigantic fucking like railgun thing and shoot her ass into this, and which she took forever to fall. She has to be dead. I mean, I don't know. There are a lot of people that say that they list her as unknown in their database, which is horseshit. I mean, there's no way she can be listed as How are you not dead? Just kill somebody after that, for Christ's sakes. I mean, I don't want to see Big Mom ever return. She's an annoying villain.
100%.
I would.
Kill Mace, can't you kill her?
I would much rather see the Big Mom family under Katakuri do different things, like evolve. Especially, hopefully, Candy fucking face is dead.
Oh god,
I never have to see his ass again. Katakuri is such a better character.
Yeah,
the way he cares for his family and shy about his deformity and all that. He needs to be the leader. They could do more with him if they ever do anything with him. But don't bring her back. I mean, King's, I think, listed it as unknown. So is Queen. So is Jack. I mean, Jack was stabbed in the stomach and passed out from that somehow. Didn't die.
Yeah.
Queen was thrown off into the water. Yeah, he's alive.
Queen. So I never knew this, and you can't tell by looking at him. Apparently, Jack is a fishman.
We talked about this. Yes.
So that's how he can survive in the water. Yada yada.
Yeah.
Queen, I don't think that's the case, and we know it's not the case for King.
No, he's a Luminarian.
Yeah. So if they're both,
which was just, hey, by the way, here's this another race of people. After watching 1,078 episodes, just the 1,050 episodes. There's a new race called Luminarians, and they're super tall. They have wings, and they produce fire. And they're basically unbelievable, but
I think that's going to come up when we get more towards the end of the final saga.
Yeah,
it's probably just like a rare
because they were around during the Void Century.
Yeah, and they have. So he already had wings.
Yeah,
and then he got the pterodactyl devil fruit, which then he gets pterodactyl wings. He's insanely powerful.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But I don't know.
Yeah, that was cool.
Don't you like when they show Kaido from like? It's like they'll show Kaido from like a couple years ago, and he's so much younger. I mean, this fucking guy's been alive for like ever, but like only like 10 years ago did he drastically change his look and put on a bunch of weight. You know, he's like skinny and young when he's talking to
and regular size.
Yeah, regular. I don't know how long ago that was. He was talking to King.
Well, I do know from reading a little bit ahead. When at the what's it called? The Battle of the God Island. When he was there, he was only 15. And he did not have his devil fruit yet. Big Mom gave him his devil fruit after the Battle of God Island.
But he has to be something other than human either.
He is. I think it's literally listed as ogre.
Yeah, because he has horns and all that shit. Now, it's hard to figure out. So what's the timeline of the Rocks pirates?
Well, like I said, the Battle of God, it's not God Island, it's God Valley.
Is that when they're defeated by...
That's when Garp and Roger and a number of other people go there and take out the Rocks.
So that's a good point. So Garp is like 70 years old in this show, right? So he had to be like, let's say it was 40 years ago.
I think that's about the number.
All right. So you go back 40 years ago and Big Mom looked that different.
She
went from this old, ugly, fat lady to this young, good-looking lady that was just tall and all that. That version they draw of Big Mom doesn't add up with any other version they draw of her. When they showed her as a little girl, she was this fat, gangly-looking girl that looked like deformed. When she was like a older girl and around, she looked like that. For some reason, she had a period where she like got hot and shapely, and I don't know why. She got skinny, she got boobs. She's like, "Hey, Kaido," and like and then she got old and like went back to her old self. I hate when they draw that version of Big Mom. There's no way she ever looked like that.
It's annoying.
It's so stupid.
Super annoying.
Charlotte, she was
Charlotte Linlin.
Charlotte Linlin. She went through a stage where she went to the gym and got herself together, you know, and she wasn't going to take no from any man, you know. And then she got old, because then I mean it's only 40 years for these people that like have obviously a long lifespan.
So 40 years. Think about how many children she's had in that 40 years.
Christ, maybe that's it. Maybe she's fucking beat down.
Didn't she have like 58 kids?
She got like 70 kids or something.
So in 40 years, she had 58 kids. Number one, I don't think that's physically possible.
Yeah, I don't know. Unless a lot of them are twins too. There's some of that.
Rapid fire.
And who knows what her gestation period is? You know, maybe she only. I mean, she is a freak of nature, so maybe she only has to have a baby for a month and then shoots it out full grown. Fuck no. I mean, they're making up rules as they go along now.
Yeah, you can't compare this show to real life.
No, their timelines I've always had a problem with, where they're just like, well, they'll be like, let's see this flashback. I'm like, Big Mom looks really young in this flashback. This one's got to be like 20 years ago. This bitch aged horribly in 20 years. You know, like, I don't know, maybe that was the additional 20 kids she had.
Well, and then the other one that always drove me nuts was Kobe's transformation. From that dumpy little nerd to Kobe got a glow up. And if you look at the time difference, it was like 2 months.
Yeah. And he's like taller and good looking and all. It's weird. It was
like 2 months.
Meanwhile, Garp hasn't aged in like 40 years. He looks the exact same.
Yeah.
So.
His hair went gray.
Yeah, who knows? But anyway, that was a pretty good fight, and you know, I enjoyed it.
Though, I don't. Law's power makes no sense to me. Kid's power he's cool.
Yeah.
Kid is really cool. They do the magnetic stuff really good.
The only thing I don't understand is why do things like melt together and form like different objects? Like if he just had a giant ball of trash that was just a big ball of trash, I would get that. But when it turns into like a skull head,
when it turns into a minotaur,
like a minotaur. Like,
he's very artistic. Apparently, you have to have the magnetic fruit or whatever it's called, the mag fruit. What is it called?
I'm not sure what his fruit is.
And Kazaki Ino has like the mag, their lava.
His is one of the mag, I think.
So you have to be very artistic too in order to sculpt it into.
Does he know, like, soldering? Is he like?
Yeah, he's
Jiki no me.
Jiki. What's the English
what's the
transition
English
of it though?
It doesn't. It actually doesn't even say.
He's got the one that's with the magnets.
It's the whatever it is. Anyway, you're still looking at it.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It does. I'm on the wiki page and it doesn't even say what it is.
Okay.
It's just Jiki no me.
As we just dead air because we're both looking it up.
That's all right. We don't need to know. It's kids' fruit. It's cool. So moving on from that fight, I think before the final.
Jiki no Mi stands for magnet fruit.
Okay.
There you go.
There was one more little. It wasn't even a whole episode. It was a snippet of Luffy starting against Kaido again.
Mm-hmm.
And
a lot of recapping.
A lot of recaps. There was that whole episode that was Nami and Robin recapping everything.
Oh, I'm so glad I can skip those now. Those are so stupid. We forgot about the Jinbei moment. So this fucking place is on fire like you've never seen on fire before.
All things on fire.
I mean, you can't find a spot where there's not fire.
It's got to be literally 2,000 degrees inside that building.
Yeah, how anyone's breathing, I have no idea. How the building is still even standing, I have no idea. But the steps are on fire. The walls are on fire. So finally, Jinbei and Raizo, because Raizo beats Earlobes, which, I don't know his name. Fuck him. I don't need to know his name. He's Earlobes.
He's Earlobes.
But Raizo was like the last to finally finish up his little fight. And then he did that trick where he, I don't know if it was something that when Zenitsu shoots his water up on the Zo.
That's how he got the idea.
That's how he got the idea?
That's how he got the idea.
But he makes portals towards water.
Somehow,
just killing his chest.
Traps water in that scroll. Because his whole Jitsu power is scroll magic.
He's Raizo the Mist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Zunisha's how he got the idea.
Yeah.
But he just needed Jinbei to control the burst of water.
Yeah, and shoot it all over the place. And then they put out all the fires and had to drown some people, I would think. Fuck, I mean, the whole hallway was filled with water. But they washed everybody away. But my God, the fire, the smoke inhalation. Everybody's dead in there from that smoke inhalation. I've never seen more things on fire than that place.
Yeah.
So they took care of that. And then you finally get to Kaido and Luffy, and you got a good Snake Man.
Yes.
Which I love Snake Man.
Snake Man's great.
And it's weird because as he was doing his Snake Man stuff, the guy from CP0 interferes in the fight. So you don't know if he was going to be defeated as Snake Man there, but he was going to run out of time. Because he said, I'm going to go all out as Snake Man.
This is all I got left.
And that guy interfered and Kaido fucking smashed him.
Kaido was so pissed because it's the same thing that happened with Odin.
With Odin.
That was a cool connection. I like how they did that.
Yeah.
And he knocks him down, he beats him, and then they do the whole Drums of Liberation.
That is another one of my favorite scenes. When Zunisha just screams out, Joy Boy!
Yeah. And then the elders talking about it to build it up was cool.
Yes.
It's not, when they explain it, it's not called the Gum Gum Fruit and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's a really cool reveal.
Yeah. So, I will just say this. I really enjoyed the build-up. I enjoyed the moment where they thought he was dead and the Straw Hats didn't want to believe it. And they were waiting for him to return, the Drums of Liberation. I'm not entirely clear on this Joy Boy stuff, though. I'm not clear on, why it's not just a Gum Gum Fruit and why it's this. They explain it a little bit that Nika, the sun god, had a funny personality and he liked to bounce around like he was on rubber.
They say his body could shift and bend just like the whole thing was rubber.
Yeah, and then he calls himself. Nika is also Joy Boy. They're one and the same.
So, no. They are three distinct people. They don't even know if Nika ever actually existed.
So Joy Boy had Nika's fruit.
Joy Boy had the fruit.
Okay.
And supposedly, sometime between when Joy Boy had it and when Luffy got it, supposedly somebody else had it for a short period of time as well.
Okay.
But we won't find this out yet. I've gotten some spoilers.
Of course you did.
Stuff that we'll find out in Egghead is why it's speculated that somebody else may have had it in between the two of them. Because there's a tie-in on Egghead. But yeah, so Joy Boy had the fruit. Nika is some kind of... He's the sun god. But they don't know if he ever actually physically existed, from what I understand.
I don't understand why a sun god would have rubber powers and not like sun powers.
It's not his fruit.
He could just do whatever he wanted, and apparently he liked to be flowy.
Yeah. So apparently there was a time on this planet where there were gods walking this planet.
Yeah.
And devil fruits evolved from some of them.
Yes.
So I enjoyed the build-up. I enjoyed all that. Then we see at the end of the episode, he smiles, the hair turns white. We go to the next episode. Me being 100% honest, I am not really liking Fifth Gear right now.
Okay.
I didn't really like this. Like, I think it's way too silly. And I know everyone tells me when I say this online or around people, that's the point. They'll say, it's supposed to be silly. Like, Nika's silly, Joy Boy was silly. It was too silly for me in a moment that is super serious. Like, up till there, he is really pissed at Kaido. And, like, I'm going to fight you, I'm going to do all this to you and all that. And, like, you know, I love silly Luffy, but I like when Luffy's serious. Like, me and Alex just had this conversation earlier. I loved when he was fighting Doflamingo and realized he couldn't do it anymore. And then he gives that speech about, I refuse to lose for my crew. And then he's like, you know, fourth gear and goes fourth gear finally. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Snake Man against Katakuri is awesome. So, like, building up to this moment, you know, I was like, okay, this is cool. Like, and then he's so goofy, and he's laughing, and he's covering his face, and he's cracking up, and I'm like, there's people dying underneath you, Luffy. What the fuck are you doing? And then his power runs out, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, kick this guy's ass already, and he's woo, and his speed feet, and the Looney Tunes, and the eyeballs. I was kind of like, ugh, when you're watching it, like, I don't like this. And I know I'm supposed to because I'm a One Piece fan, but what are we doing here? You know?
So from my perspective, I didn't mind the goofiness. The only thing I don't understand, and I didn't really care for him covering his eyes the whole time.
Yeah.
I didn't get that one. And the giggling did put me off a couple times.
There's a lot of giggling.
Yes. But the things that he did, I loved. I thought, even when Kaido hits him with his bog, whatever this big club is.
And he turned into that weird thing.
His face, morphed to it.
Yeah.
I was laughing my ass off. I loved that.
Yeah. You liked it.
I like it.
In this...
And Alex made a point earlier about that, it follows the manga exactly. The manga picture of him jumping in the moon, thinking all that. I know the people, if it doesn't follow the manga, they hate it.
You're in 90s. You were in the 90s. You remember the Cocopelli. That's the same. There was a clothing brand, and that was the symbol. Looks almost identical to Luffy jumping in front of the moon. But in that sequence that we saw in those couple episodes, it had some of the best animation that I have ever seen in One Piece, and some of the worst animation I've ever seen in One Piece.
I like the fact of the giant hand that grabbed Kaido. I'm thinking that's cool that he's mixing elements of third gear and all that together, because he didn't have to blow up his hand. He just made it big, grabbed him and pulled him back. I didn't get all of a sudden that he turned into a giant and he was skipping rope with him. I was like, all right, so you can size manipulate too. The changing everything around him, I don't understand why that's even needed. If he's bouncy himself and can bounce, You remember when he's bouncing, man? He's just bouncing.
Yeah.
He's bouncing everywhere. Now he's bouncing and the ground's bouncing, and it just looks like this.
Again, that's his devil fruit affecting the
his
awakening.
Yeah.
Affecting the
And I'm like, it's a lot of bouncing. Like, it was a lot of, like, okay. And now, I will hold judgment until I see the rest of the fight. Because all I saw was the beginning of him goofing around, and then his power shuts off, of course. Then he has to will it back on and do all his Luffy stuff. Maybe the rest, because I haven't watched any spoilers, so I don't know how the fight's going to go.
Yeah, I don't know how it goes either.
If it goes really well, then maybe I'll hold judgment on it. Like Alex said, he saw him fighting Lucci in a couple future things, and it looks really good, you know. So
one of my least favorite things about it is you can tell when the animator switches that's animating it, because like the art style changes like so many times, and it's so like jarring every time it happens. Like when he first powers up, you're like, okay, this looks cool, and then like the next scene later, or like the scene where he loses it and then it comes back, I'm like, this looks like JJK animation. This looks so different.
I think it was that scene when he like fully blasts out his Conqueror's hockey.
Yeah, and like,
that was some of the cleanest, best animation I've seen in that show.
It doesn't match.
You're right.
Yeah.
It doesn't match. Yeah. But it looks cool in that moment.
Like rainbow and stuff.
Well, you know, we were just talking about this. What that reminds me of is One Punch Man. Where in the scenes when he's serious, he looks all badass and cool. And then somebody will say something to him and he'll turn around and it's just that stupid face.
Yeah. And that's supposed to be like that.
Yeah, exactly. For comedic effect. In One Piece, it's supposed to be like serious.
Should be, a little more serious.
It's just, I don't know. It was a little... The eyeball, and then annoyed. And I was like, what's happening?
Even Kaido was like, what is this, a comic strip?
Yeah.
I like when Luffy came down from the ceiling and Nami was like, what even is that?
Yeah, that's the next thing I want to see. I want to see him interacting with the crew in his Nika form.
Yeah, I want to see if they even watch this. They're very disconnected where, like, they're not around to watch this.
No, there's a big hole in the ceiling that they can kind of see some stuff, but...
And that was one of my biggest complaints with Whole Cake, is no one saw him fight Katakuri.
Yeah.
Afterwards, Sanji's like, did you handle it? Of course I did. You know, and they were like, that's my captain. Where everyone watched him fight Doflamingo, and the crowd, like, watching it, like, come on, Luffy, get him. I want to see them get up there and be like... I want Zoro and Sanji to wake up and watch their captain fight this lunatic in this wild-ass mode and at least bear witness to it, you know? So, we'll see what happens going forward. It was just a little off-putting.
Sanji did wake up, though.
Yeah, he's up. He's just in the fire building.
Well, I think the drums of liberation are what woke him up.
Yeah, he was like, oh, what is that?
Yeah, which is cool and all that. You know, like I said, the build to it was cool. And I like that episode before it. 1070 or whatever it is. And they think he's done, and then he smiles and his hair turns white. I like Grinning Luffy. Grinning Luffy is one of my favorite things throughout this whole show.
Nika just takes it one step a little too far.
Yeah. I mean, one of my favorite Grinning Luffys is Robin yelling, I want to live, and then they show you Luffy and he just grins like let's go. You know, like, I like when he does that stuff.
Yeah.
But here he did that. I was like, oh, okay, next episode, this is going to be... And then I'm like, why are there these, like, fucking Roadrunner sounds happening? And, you know, what are we doing here? And, like, not so much how cartoony it was, but just the fact that he became such an idiot again. And I know Luffy's an idiot, but when Luffy's in battle mode, he's ready to go. And maybe he's just so excited that he has this new power that he's, like, tickled about it. But I'm like, okay, get over yourself now and whip this guy's ass, you know?
I have a little bit of theory, and I don't know if I picked this up somewhere or if this is an original thought. I don't know. So if anybody comments, you can tell me where I may have gotten this in from.
Right.
The five elders of Gorosei, they specifically mention that particular devil fruit basically is sentient. It has a mind of its own.
Yes.
It picks who eats it, and it works. It kind of works through itself. And I wonder if when he's covering his eyes and giggling uncontrollably, if he's actually being influenced by the god. And it's not really it's not all Luffy anymore. It's Nika.
That could be interesting.
In some form.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, that's why I'm not going to... I said my opinion on it, but I'm not really going to damn it one way or the other until I see how this plays out. I want to see how he finishes off Kaido, and then I want to see what he's like. And, like, is it easy to go to that now? You know, can he just turn it on like that? Or, you know, what's the limits to it? You know what I mean? Like, does it have does it have fourth gear limits? Does he need a 5-minute nap after it is to power back up?
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, it'll be interesting to see that. It's such a weird thing that they do in anime is that people need, like, 5 minutes to get back into something. You know what I mean? Or whenever Luffy did that for the first time, it reminded me of way back in Dragon Ball Z where Goku's fighting Majin Buu and Super Saiyan 3, and he's not giving 100% because he wants Vegeta to have a shot at him, and then Vegeta's like, I can't take him. And he's like, "Oh man, if I would have known that, I would have tried harder." He's like, "I'm tuckered out," and then he's like, "I need a minute." And then he's like, "You won't last a minute." He's like, "I'll last a minute. I'll give you a minute." And he barely fucking holds on for a minute just so Goku can, like. And I'm like, all you need's a minute.
Yeah.
Can't you just talk to the guy for a minute? You know, like.
You stood over on the other side of the screen screaming for 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Why is 1 minute now?
The whole conversation him and Vegeta are having is like 5 minutes. And it's like, you've had more than a minute right now. And while Boo's over there, like, picking his nose and jumping upside down, I'm like, I don't understand why that's a thing in anime. You know, that, like, I need a minute. Luffy needs a 5-minute nap, then he can go insanely powerful again. That seems to be, like, maybe a little bit more training or something that can work that out.
Yeah.
So, let's see how it ends. And who knows when we're going to get another 12 episodes. Could be another month, for all we know.
To get them on Crunchyroll, it could be 6 to 9 weeks.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts.
But a lot of stuff is coming back now. My Hero, Demon Slayer.
Yeah. So, yeah, we got more things to talk about coming up.
We got to do another episode here at some point on Black Clover. I finished season 1.
Yeah. And then you gotta, you're watching that. We could either do 2 for that show or 4 or whatever. We'll see what we have time for. We said we're going to, then we don't have time during the week. But it was good to talk about this. I'll try to upload this hopefully sooner than 6 months from now, like I did for the last one when I forgot. But shit, I mean, we wait around for this stuff for so long.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the next 12 gets us to the exact end of Wano.
Okay.
And then I gotta wonder,
I also have one more question. Is Orochi dead?
Oh, yeah, we forgot to talk about that.
She killed him, right?
Yeah, and that was Hiyori. That is one of the most satisfying kills in the show.
Would she kill him with the lava guy killed him?
Well, the fire eventually is what killed him, but she paralyzed him with the sea prism stone needle
in the neck.
Yeah. And that was so sad.
Oh, that fucking guy! How many times have we almost killed him? Like he's the worst.
He should have died when he got decapitated.
He should have died the moment he was born with that giant stupid head that he has.
I'm sure he killed his mother.
He's one of oh my god, that head coming out, Jesus Christ! He's one of the most annoying anime characters ever created.
Yeah, I hated him.
Those teeth are so weird. Too.
So dumb. Yeah, just this 2 like buck ones he has. So yeah, at least they're finally wrapped up on everything else.
Yeah, and then we got to see Yamato trying to save the explosives from going off. And
and stupid
Momo still being a whiny bitch. He's not crying now, at least.
He's just whining. He can't do anything. You're a dragon for crap. How are you going to put him in charge when this is all over? Like, he's the worst, really. You could age him up. He's still a little baby that cries all the time. You would think after all this shit, you'd be a little tougher.
I like his connection with the elephant, Zanisha.
Yeah,
that's cool.
The elephant has just walked the Wano. Now you can see little eyes growing in him. Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
He's like, what are you talking about?
Hopefully we're getting... I as much as I love One Piece, I would really like to see it finally work towards an end.
Yeah.
And then if you wanted to do any kind of spin-off or anything else, there's plenty of stuff there, I don't know. I think it's time. Wrap some of this stuff up. Start tying it together.
Yeah.
We still got so much to do.
But my question before we close is, so Netflix has the new Egghead episodes.
It does, yeah.
But they're also on Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
So where do you think the dub for the Egghead episodes, the final saga, where do you think they're going to go first?
I imagine the Crunchyroll and then the Netflix. I don't know.
Because I think Netflix had it before Crunchyroll got it. I think it's... Even the subtitled episodes, I think, are delayed on...
Are they?
I think.
I thought they come out every week.
Maybe.
I don't know. Netflix is really behind and hard to One Piece, which is good because I want more live action. I know it's taken a while to get there, but you know, I hope to be sitting here one day and we're watching live action Wano.
Oh my god!
Because it would be a lot shorter.
They're gonna struggle even getting to Marineford in the live action. I think I really do.
It depends on its popularity. I mean, you have to remember that show was the most watched show in for Netflix. Like, it's not like they put a show out that didn't do well, and maybe if people like, it's not the Avatar show. No offense, that people are like,
I didn't really like
maybe you'll get another season. Fans kind of like it. People fucking loved that show.
Yeah,
like it killed it. So if the next season...
Logistically, it's going to be very difficult to get much beyond Marineford.
And, as the show goes on, the devil fruits and the character design just gets so...
But here's the thing with it. Hopefully One Piece fans can get out of their own head and realize it's okay to change some things for live action.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you can't do a dragon all the time for come up with something. I'm okay with it being different.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why some anime fans, if it doesn't match the manga completely, they hate it.
Yeah.
It's going away from it. Well, why do you even watch the anime if it just has to be? Just read the manga again if you want it exactly the way it is.
Yeah.
I said to Alex earlier, it's like X-Men 97. It's comic accurate with what they're telling you, but it's completely different than the way it went there. They're merging two elements together of Bastion that happened in the early 2000s with Fatal Attractions that happened in 1995 and putting them in happening at the same time.
It's all nice and short.
But it's still the same backbone behind it, and it makes it better because it's different. Yeah. You're watching it and you're like, oh, why might not know what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Why is that not allowed in the anime manga world?
I don't know.
They just want to sit there and go, everything that I read exactly must now be watched exactly.
I get to see it in motion.
Yeah. Wait a minute. He never said goodbye there. He said farewell. It's not accurate.
I don't know if any newer animes do that, or it's just the old ones that are sticking to the manga.
I don't know. I don't read manga, so I wouldn't know what's the case there. But I don't know. Anyway,
all right, let's wrap this up.
We got another podcast to do here, folks. So we'll see you later on this one. Thanks. Talk anime again sometime.
Later.